So, I just want to go over a quick lesson on neural pathways and the 6 steps of neuro-associative conditioning as outlined in Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. So basically, let's just say in this scenario we have someone who's addicted to chocolate, okay? So he has a cue of feeling bored or feeling stressed, which he's learned and he's been conditioned that eating chocolate is the road to avoiding pain, the pain of boredom and stress, and gaining immediate gratification, gaining pleasure, right? That's a routine or habit that he's formed, the neural pathway or neuroassociation that he's formed that leads him to this. So now this person understands that this might not be the best route to go because it's going to really end up in massive pain for him later on. So the first step of neuro-associative conditioning is to know what you really want. So he knows he doesn't want chocolate, okay? That's a good start. But now he has to know what he really wants. So let's just say now he wants to adopt a healthier lifestyle. So he wants to become fit and he wants to exercise often. So that'll probably be his replacing routine that we'll get to in the fourth step of neuro-associative conditioning. So he's going to replace that with exercise. But first off, he has to eliminate this habit because it's a habit ingrained in his brain. There's a big neural trunk line in his brain, just like this road, that has been conditioned to lead him to this whenever he feels this. So now that we have the first step down of neuro-associative conditioning, we have to go to the second step. The second step is to create massive pain to not changing now. It's to gain leverage. So if this person doesn't change this habit now, what will it cost him in his life? What pain will this actually lead to? So I'll just draw it out for you, and this is supposed to be like a little road. So let's just say now this routine actually, he did the second step, and this routine actually leads to pain, massive pain. That's like a little road right there, okay? So now he has this mixed neuroassociation to the routine of eating chocolate. It leads to massive pain now that he's thought about the second step, and it also still has that old association where it avoids the pain of boredom and stress, and it gives him immediate pleasure. But remember, this is a rule of thumb. You'll do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So this is basically kind of overriding him. So now every time he eats chocolate, he'll feel pain. He might feel a little bit of immediate pleasure, but the pain will override. So now to fully get rid of this road, the third step is to interrupt the limiting pattern. So basically you need to bomb this highway right here. So now this routine only leads to pain, not to both. So in order to interrupt that limiting pattern, or to bomb that highway, he has a technique in his book. It's called the scramble pattern. But an example that he worked with someone who had a chocolate addiction in one of his seminars was that he told this man for the next 9 days, all he has to do is eat chocolate. And he can only drink 4 glasses of water and have nothing but chocolate for 9 days. So like the first day he's like, oh, this is great. Wow, like I can do this easily. By the second day, he started looking sick, and he started to associate pain with the chocolate. And by the third day, he was probably yakking all over the place. And that's a pattern interrupt that basically Tony did on him. He used the man's own body to associate massive pain to this road, to this routine. So basically, he interrupted that pattern. So now this road will never be the same again. This road was bombed. Because let's just draw it, it's bombed. Because Tony did that pattern interrupt on him where he associated massive pain with eating all that chocolate, right? The chocolate didn't give him this anymore, it just gave him this. So now basically the road that you have is now this. Is that this cue, doing this routine upon this cue will lead to pain, lead to massive pain. So that's the third step. You interrupt the limiting pattern. But now you need to find a new routine to get back to this over here, right? Because this is all what we want. Great, now you know not to do this routine because it leads to pain, but we need something to get us to here when we feel this cue. So now what we have to do is replace the pattern with something empowering. So we need to create a completely new pathway over here that leads back to this avoidance of pain and pleasure from this cue. Yeah, let's just make it a better drawing. All right. So we have to pave a new road. So let's just say this man wants to do exercise now. So let's just say exercise is the new routine that he wants to set to avoid pain as he gain pleasure upon this cue. Alright, so now that this road is bombed, and now all this road does, this road of eating chocolate, all it does is lead to massive pain. Now you need a new routine to get you to avoid pain and to gain pleasure upon this cue. So he wants to make the new routine, instead of eating chocolate, he wants to make it exercise, because he believes that will give him the most pleasure. So now he associates and conditions himself to feel so much pleasure doing exercise. So that's the fourth step of NAC. And now the fifth step of NAC is to condition the new pattern until it's consistent. So the simplest way to condition something is to simply rehearse it again and again until a new neurological pathway is created. And once you find that new empowering alternative, you imagine doing it until you see that it can get you out of pain and into pleasure quickly. So you just do it with enough emotional intensity, and you just keep rehearsing it again and again and again until that pathway is fully carved out. So the fifth step is just making it lasting. So to create lasting change. So once that's been implemented, that pathway's been created in your brain, you want to condition it, and you want to make it stronger and stronger and stronger. So instead of having it as like a little road, you want it to turn into a highway. And the sixth step of NAC is to test it. So you test it out to see if it actually works. And if it doesn't, then you go back to the first few steps and fix it. That's how to create lasting change. So I hope this helps you understand how neural pathways work. And all right, until next time.